All right, ladies, we're going to start just with a bit of a warm-up through the whole body. Open up the side waist so we can get into our good diaphragmatic breathing. I want you to get this connection with diaphragm and pelvic diaphragm. I'm going to bolster and putting on the side here to grab that in a moment. So just start on your mat, and I always like to just connect with the feet before I do anything else. So lift your toes, massage from one side to the other. Give yourself a bit of a wobble through the ankles, maybe a roll around the feet. The heel connection down into the ground connects into our hamstrings, our bum muscles, into our pelvic floor. So we want to have really good connection through those feet. Let's just drop down into goddess. Take a deep breath in. Spread your ribs out to the side as you breathe in. And let's just loosen the jaw as you breathe out. So do some nice loosening the jaw. Of course, when we do activations with the pelvic floor muscles with the breath, we also want to make sure that we are lengthening those muscles, releasing those muscles. So a couple of big breaths in. Wonderful. Come down, side bending. So we open up the ribs. We go right here into this thoracic area where the diaphragm is. Take some breaths and see if you can aim with your mind the breath down here, bottom of the ribcage, bottom of the lungs, and into the back of the lungs. One direction, other direction. Draw the chin back, so slight constriction on the back of the throat, and breathe in through the nostrils. And imagine you're pulling the breath right past your ears into the back of the head. They'll encourage you to use the bottom lobes of the lungs. Good. Now I'm plugging down through that heel as I come up and over, so I get this real connection through the side of my body. And then we'll just do the whole side, stretching through to the toes. That's it. All the way. Fantastic. And then we'll just loosen everything up. So big circles, head and shoulders, going into that thoracic area. Loosen it all. Make this as floppy as you want. One direction, other direction. Good, and then hands on hips, big circles. I was thrilled to see Andrew Huberman, you know, he's a scientist who does all sorts of podcasts on health and wellbeing, and him talking about the shaking out of the fascia and how effective that is. And I was like, I do that with my ladies, yes. And yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so good. How, in all these practices, it just makes sense that they actually have scientific backing as well. Now let's take the arms out to the side, shoulders down. Now squeeze your upper back muscles so we get a little bit of activation there. Just open these chest muscles here. Big circles with the bumps. You can make it a bit lower. So this helps to open up the psoas, gets a bit of vascular flow around the organs, and just this movement through the pelvis helps the pelvic floor muscles to do that, thumping the blood flow around the pelvic floor. Fantastic. And then the one I always do this for Helen, so it's a slide from side to side, the adductors, the inner thigh muscles here. So we want to be super aware of them. And I like to just drop the shoulders a bit as well, so you feel like you're just going, rinse it out, rinse it out. It's amazing how tension that we feel around our neck, shoulders, jaw tends to show up in urgency, in heaviness, the feeling of congestion, even constipation in the pelvic area. Let's just pause here, and I'm going to get you to pull up the toes, and we'll do a bit with the thoracic as well. So hand on shoulder, elbow down, keep these toes pulling back, and then lift, and then down. Now breathe in as you lift, so you can get a little bit of a twist. Now I know the balance here can be challenging, so maybe you even have a hand on a chair or a stool, and this knee, be super mindful it's not dropping in. So keep your pressure through the outer edge of that foot. Breathing in. Good. I'm just going to lengthen through fingers and turn the head. So we stretch right here into these pectoral muscles. Breathing deeply, opening up, getting a bit of a stretch in between the rib cage, the ribs. Breathing into those intercostal muscles. If you pull right through to the middle finger, you'll feel a nervy stretch. This is the lung 1 meridian. Oh, good. Wakes us up. Good. Come down to the center. And I'm just get you to do a little bit of cat-cow here. So tuck the tail, round the shoulders, lift the chest, lift the tail. Tuck and lift. Tuck and lift. Now breathe with it. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. If you can do nothing else in the day, do some circles with your pelvis and a bit of this. It's just like cat and cow on the ground. And of course, what we're doing is lengthening, closing, lengthening, closing. So we're getting good blood flow through these muscles, keeping them elastic. Good. I'm going to the other side. Lift your tail behind you, spread your sitting bones. If you need to, fingers here, take your fingers onto the sitting bones and just kind of pull them apart slightly, and then flower your anus, like relax your anus. And we'll go to the other side. Swish tail to the other side, pulling up. No, I did this. There we go. And down, and elbow up, down, and up. Whoa, good. And breathing, and down, and breathing. Good. So I don't like to diss other people training because, you know, anything to encourage us to move is brilliant. But I do think it's a responsibility if you're targeting a certain audience that you know a bit about their bodies and how they operate and are responsible and know how to keep people from actually potentially doing damage. I think that's super important. Oh, good. One more. And then lengthen up and looking down. So this leg is working hard, by the way. We're doing a lot of good bone strengthening, hip strengthening here, whilst we're lengthening the adductors on this side. Good. Oh, roll it up, roll it down. Just release, release, release. Okay, last one, standing up. I'm going to get you to bring your feet a little bit closer. And hands like so. So we're going to do, basically this all mobilizes the thoracic so we can use that diaphragm a bit more easily. So you keep your hands like a window and you just, let's imagine you're pushing the inside of your left elbow towards your right elbow and you're repelling. So we'll go to the right, first. Keep your legs and your pelvis straight. They're not moving, you're just going, you're breathing out, okay? And if you're fine to breathe out through your nostrils, try that. Just go. Mouth just very gently closed and breathing out through your nostrils. If that feels weird, just that little puffy breath out through your mouth. Try that on the other side. So right elbow pushing left away. So we're doing this kind of action. And then you come down. I've actually just stupidly had a very rich smoothie with, golly, what did I put in there? I put a raw egg and chia seeds and lots of berries and kiwi and coconut cream and lots of other stuff. Oh, and like a vitamin. It's not what you should do right before a yoga class. Especially not because I'm about to do another breathing thing with you, which normally requires an empty stomach. All right, let's just rinse and rinse. All of this stuff is going to the central nervous system, all the nerves attached to our back, and just opening this area up. So we go into this next bit. You'll need your bolster. Drop down, bum is behind you, knees are wide. So we're opening up the adductors that go right into the pelvic floor. Now remember, we don't want to collapse here. So your tail is being dropping down and back behind you. Your back muscles are active, so we've just opened them. Keep your upper back muscles active, keep your heart lifted, and just see if you can drop down. Weight is in the heels here. And if you're not going down so far, just gently press your hands into your inner knees. Maybe your elbows if you are coming down a bit deeper. Wriggle your jaw. Relax your pelvic floor. Now we're not here. If we're here, we're putting pressure straight down through the vagina, not good. Here, the pressure is on the pubic bone and the lower belly, so it's fine. And then come down onto the ground. We're going to knead our bolster under bum. Before we go on bolster, feet out, just drop the knees from side to side. So a little bit more into the hip flexors. This goes right into this muscle that goes from the inner knee right up through the thigh into the pelvis. The sartorius muscle, which, it's the longest muscle in the body. And when it gets tight, it can pull the patella out, it can do all sorts of stuff. So this is a goodie. Okay, so let's come and sit on the end of your bolster so that your pelvis is slightly tilted forward. So just if you're sitting on the ground and you tend to be sort of slightly rounded, we want to have something under our bottom so that we can be slightly tilted forward. Take a moment in your cobbler and just pull your spine tall. I'm really regretting having that smoothie. Good nutrition, but too much. Okay, so here we are. Now, go into your diaphragmatic breathing. So it's a 3-part breath. You're aiming the beginning of your inhalation down here, and then it spreads out so that we open those ribs out to the side like an accordion. And then last of all, the very end of the puff in, we feel the breath is filling up towards the top, towards the chest area, but not until the end. So we don't want to be just breathing here. We want to encourage the breath to go down and out and then up. So it's called a 3-part breath, breathing in, and then breathing in. Chin is in, breathing in through your nostrils. See if you can imagine the breath going right past your ears, back here. And maybe you can do this with your hands. And then as you breathe out, start to add a little bit of a lift. Now, it doesn't matter if you can't actually feel it, because this is activation through pelvic floor, and a lot of women from tummy button downwards just can't feel anything much, and it takes a rewiring of those neural pathways. So use your breath and imagine that as you exhale, you are picking up a tissue with your vaginal muscles, yeah? So imagine, or you're sucking up through a straw and you've got a big, thick smoothie, not like the one I just had. Okay, so, I'm sorry, they have raw egg in it, so don't do that. Or if you're a chicken, imagine that you're about to lay the egg and then you're like, nope, and you're lifting it up. And then you inhale, you're laying the egg, and then as you exhale, you go, nope, and you're picking it up. So I'm going to get you to breathe with the diaphragm and try to activate a little bit on that breath out. Now, up to you whether you breathe out just through your nostrils here, or start to purse the lips and breathe out as if you're blowing out a candle. So this is the activation we're going to be doing. This is the breath. And the idea is to basically get the diaphragm pushing the breath out of our lungs. And because they are connected, they work together, like if you imagine 2 jellyfish sitting on top of each other in the ocean, like that. As the top jellyfish, the diaphragm, goes upwards, the bottom jellyfish, the pelvic floor muscles, have a little bit of a vacuum effect as well, like that. Okay, so I'm going to cross my ankles here and drop forward a tiny bit more. So I'm a little bit more on an anterior tilt. So my lower belly here, my pubic bone are dropping down. So you're not kind of doing that, but you're a neutral spine, but our sitting bones are on the prop and our pubic bone is dropping off. So we're going to do a little bit of the Kalabati breath, fire breath. I might just pretend because I might be sick because I've had a full belly. So what it is you're just breathing out of your nostrils. So have a go with it. If it doesn't feel good, forget about it. There's other things we can do. But you're just breathing out of your nostrils. Don't worry about the inhale. That'll come of its own accord. And with every quite forced breath out, you're doing a little zip up. And you know, I always talk about the tight high-waisted jeans. You're scooping upwards with your lower belly, and there's a little bit of that closing of the hose and lift, closing of the hose and lift. And the breath is, come a bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going. I'm going to do about 10 and then take a few regular breaths. That does not feel good on me. Yeah. So have a few regular breaths, let the pelvic floor relax. You have just been doing some quite vigorous lifting. And you'll feel a sort of a polished effect on the top of your skull up here. So it can feel quite weird. And for some women, they just don't like it. It's incredibly toning, but just be aware of this feeling that you have up here is normal. It's because we've got more carbon dioxide going around the body. So it's breathing out through the nostrils. It's a forced breath, and we'll just do another 6 to 10. See how you go. So it's a. Take a nice deep breath in. And then out. And just let your fingers and your wrists and your elbows be soft so we can loosen up the shoulders. It's amazing how tension down the track affects up here. So just do a little bit of kind of like that. And we're going to come onto hands and knees for, keep your bolster close by for some cat-cow. Nice wide fingers. Let's rotate the wrists a bit more. Like so. And start off with your cat-cow. So I'll untuck my feet to start off with. Now, I noticed a couple of people I've working with recently how common it is to hyperflex through the elbows when you come into cat-cow. Same with down dog. Try not to. Try to keep a tiny micro bend and the eyes of the elbows, the inside of the elbows facing each other, so that you are using your biceps. You're not locking into the ligaments here. So tiny micro bend. And then push the floor away so that you can feel your back muscles activating. And there's a little bit of a sort of a sucking sensation with the rib cage drawing back towards the spine. So we're not kind of here collapsing through the shoulders. We are here. So this is our neutral. Then we start just by lifting the tail and then tucking the tail. So this is the beginning of cat-cow. It starts from the connection of the tailbone and the insertion point of the back of the pelvic floor muscles. So this is the beginning of our whole core system. It starts at the tail. So that's why people who walk around with like that will have chronically foreshortened pelvic floor muscles, disengaged core, and tend to have breathing issues, tend to suffer with, well, lots of stuff. So we need our tail connection. So start from the tail. Once you feel like you've got the breath in, the tail is lifting, the breath out, the tail is tucking, start to move right up your spine. So like a ribbon, rolling up the spine, through each of the vertebrae. And in your mind's eye, visualize those vertebrae almost like a string of pearls, and your back is flowing with the movement. Lifting on the breath in and tucking on the breath out. I always give myself a little jiggle, just a tiny micro movement from one knee to the other. So you can't probably see it. I'm kind of shaking the tail slightly. And then lift the tail, and let's just circle. This is, I reckon, I mean, I can't get enough of circling. Circling is so good for us because we're so linear in most of our modern movements. And because we sit so much, and a lot of us will just walk or run, and we've lost all of the fluidity. And we really need that. As we lose our estrogen, we become very, very stiff. You need to work all the different types of muscle fibers. And some of our muscle fibers only respond to more fluid, rotational kind of movement. One direction, other direction. Circling it all around. Whew. Right, we're going to start to switch on core. So tuck toes, come back. Now this is where we breathe in. So the diaphragm has dropped down with the breath in, and we relax the pelvic floor. So we're going to exaggerate it with the movement. Here, pelvic floor stretched out, relaxed, belly's relaxed, diaphragm dropping down, pushing everything downwards. Trampoline-like. And then, as we come forward, I'm going to get you to blow out like you're blowing out a candle. Chin is tucked back in, so we have the constriction on the back of the throat. And we draw ourselves forward. As we draw ourselves forward, you feel like you're drawing air, we're sitting the pubic bones inwards with the front of your pelvic bones, inwards and upwards towards your rib cage. Yes, everything's going like you're doing up very tight high-waisted jeans. You pause here with shoulders just above your hands, and then we unzip and we release. Breathing in here, breathing out. Using that intra-abdominal pressure system to massively increase the toning effect through our pelvic floor. And this is sucking up, literally sucking up our organs. So we're toning around the liver to ani muscles that hold our organs up and in place and are very affected by our lack of estrogen. Down. Good. Let's exaggerate that even more now. Come onto your fists. Elbows out to the side. So like a gorilla, like so, to start off with. Shoulders above fists. And tuck your toes. Now, chin is drawn back. Give yourself a double chin. Draw the base of the rib cage in. Can you see I'm doing that? And then here. And start to do your puffy breath out. And then push your fists into the ground so that you slightly straighten your arms. Keep going. You should feel it in your biceps here as well. And see if you can suck your knees slightly off the ground. So strong. And we're sucking in and up, in and up, in and up like that. If you've got your knees off the ground, maybe try and just kind of squeeze them together. So we activate our adductors as well. Woo, make it even stronger. Drop down. So that was super strong. Now we have just done probably nearly 50% stronger activation through the pelvic floor than if we were just doing a Kegel by itself just then. Elbows out, hands up, drop the chest, tail up. So now we're going to release the muscles, don't we? Because we've just been massively squeezing them. If we were to just squeeze and not release, we will end up with muscles that are like that, but can't lengthen. So that's not a good thing. We've got to do both. Lengthen muscles and contract, strengthen. Alrighty, so next one, intra-abdominal pressure system, amped up even more. Take your knees onto a bolster. And this is going to make me feel really sick with my. Whew. Okay, so This is my version of the hyperpressive breath, so full Uddiyana Bandha. And if it doesn't work with you, just know it, just the action of having our knees up, diaphragm now is lower than the pelvis. So every time we breathe out, the diaphragm, it's with gravity, the diaphragm has got more help to push all the breath out of our lungs. And remember the connection here. So we have naturally more activation, more vacuum upwards with the pelvic floor muscles. Now, since we've been working the intercostal muscles between the ribs here, I'm going to get you to try and add a false breath in at the end of a full exhalation. So those of you who have done this full Uddiyana with me before, go ahead and start doing this. And those of you who have not done it before, well, I'll try and explain it much better in person, but I'll try and explain it so you can at least have a go. So I will come down onto my forearms soon, but it's just a bit probably easier for you to see my belly when I'm here. So we inhale and the belly's relaxed and we're breathing consciously into the ribs out to the side. As we breathe out, now we need to have a full exhalation. I mean, every little bit of puff comes out of your lungs in order for that diaphragm to be as high as possible. So as we come forward, the action's the same as what we've just done. We breathe out completely, and we have to be comfortable with having no breath in the lungs for a moment. No breath in the lungs, it's all gone. And then without actually breathing in, we then do that scoop and we flare our ribs out to the side and we draw the chin in and we do a slight rounding through the back. Did you just try it, Ellen? Slight rounding through the back. And then we've got to breathe. So we're going to let the belly go, breathe in, and then we drop back to recover. And take some normal breaths. So I'm going to do that on my forearms now. So breathing in, I breathe out to move. Already I've got quite a big scoop going on here, letting all the breath out. And then false inhalation. And then let the belly go, drop back and breathe. So I have found that is a really great way if you're feeling symptomatic with prolapse, especially as cytocele, frontal anterior prolapse. That really works to help lift everything, retone everything. We do the same thing standing up like that. But I have found that doing it here is the most effective. So we'll do it one more time. Breathing in here. Breathing out completely with the move. Every little bit of puff out, more than you might think, every little bit of puff out. When your lungs are empty, you scoop and flare the ribs out to the side. Slight rounding of the back. And you see I've just lifted, pushed my forearms down to the ground. And then releasing. Good, well done. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more on bum while we're on all fours. Sorry, this class is going over a little bit, but I just wanted to give you these. So if you have to go, just put your legs up the wall for a bit first and just let your body relax. But if you can stay for another 5-10 minutes, then I'll make it worth it. All right, first of all, switching on bum muscles. So shoulders down underneath your elbows. Now pull your elbows towards your knees, yeah? So you feel like you're pulling your knees and your elbows towards each other, and that's going to help you activate core. So keep that pulling sensation, and then take your right foot up towards the ceiling. Now flex your toes. So it's no good if you're like that. Flex, pushing the heel away, and this won't work. You've got to have your foot, so you've got to have your knee at the same height as your bum. And then the squeezing, so I'm just squeezing my right glute here. The little squeezes of gluteus maximus is lifting the knee and the heel as if I'm kicking the ceiling away. And because our glutes attach into the sitting bones, which attach into our pelvic floor muscles, and our pelvic floor muscles are skeletal, it means how strong our glutes are directly affects how well our pelvic floor muscles actually can work. And where they sit yeah, whether they're all scrunched up and contracted and not able to function properly, or whether they're nice and trampoline-like, little puffy, little squeezes. Take the foot down. Now squeeze and lift. That's it. And squeeze and lift. Now, whilst I'm doing this, I'm still really super aware of rib cage drawing back, a little bit of activation through the lower belly. So all of the core muscles are still active. Take the foot into the bum, come up like that, and just release. Oh, I can feel that. Can you? Woo! Okay. So again, this one is for all of you girls who have got tight in the thighs. Chuck your foot out to the side, drop it down. Now I'm just going to come here so you can see my foot. Toes forward, drop your bum back so we can feel the stretch right through inner thigh, back of the leg. Belly's relaxed now, jaws relaxed. So as soon as we come to a stretch and a relax, do the whole thing, yeah? So your whole body, especially around your face and your neck, is encouraging down here. We are holistic beings, so if you're thinking about the shopping and stressful things, then you're less likely to be able to get a good release down here. So do the relax your face. Now take that foot behind you. And I've got my toes out to the side here, and I'm just dropping back. So we're looking for the stretch right up the outside of the leg. So let me just show you. I'll show you. Put my legs like that. Toes out to the side. So the side of my foot is pressing into the ground. Good. Let's do that on the other side. First of all, slide your knees apart, drop down to, I call this the water boatman. Making you one of those insects that sit on top of the water. And you're just trying to take up as much space as possible. Literally have to remind myself, do not do rich smoothie right before class. All right, so we're pulling elbows and knees towards each other. Just this is active, yeah? Just this. Whew. So Jen, when you're down on the floor playing with the twins, do this. Play with the cars and things, do this. All right, so foot up, little squeezes, gluteus maximus. You want your mission for the summer to maximize your bum, gluteus maximus. Let's see who's got the biggest bum by the end of the summer. Bum, 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 bum. Kick, 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 kick. You can pretend you're kicking me if you're like, this sucks. And then straighten up, and then let's go. So into your hamstrings as well. And down, squeeze it. Don't let all this collapse. You'll be really vigilant. Keep pulling your elbows towards your knee towards your elbows. So this is weight bearing as well. This is good. All right, up, toe in, come up onto the hand. Big surface to release. Going inwards, so we're adducting. Inwards, 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 foot out, toe forward, drop down. Wow, this side is way tighter than the other side. It's so interesting, isn't it? When you just, and this stuff interests me. So the psoas and the shoulder are connected across the body. So my right shoulder are still really problematic, and my left psoas area is significantly tighter than the right. Interesting. All right, and then I'm swapping around, side of the foot, dropping back a little bit. I know. Yeah. So I'm putting the pressure through the little toe edge, so the stretch is going up the outer edges of my left leg that's behind. Oh, good. How's all that? Whew. Okay, so now that let's just do a quick little walking dog. Since we've done all of the activation, we'll just see how it all fits in together. Press the floor away, tabletop, chin in, knees together, stick your left foot out behind you, squeeze that glute, draw the rib cage in, see if we can add the balance, hand out, thumb up. If you're like, this is easy peasy, make it harder, turn it into a dynamic balance, elbow on the out to the side, yeah? So don't get complacent, keep making things a little bit more destabilized. So keep breathing, moving with that activation. Push your chin into the ground and notice how much more that pulls you upwards. Breathing, pushing the hand into the ground, rib cage in, chin into the ground, bum active, maybe a little bit of extra destabilizing. Walking around the room. Look at that. So, look, we haven't done one single Kegel just by itself, but we have been massively strengthening pelvic floor using all of the stabilizing muscles and our breath. So fingers up in the front, you deserve this. Now wrists off the ground. Those of you who've got tighter inner thigh muscles will say, what do you mean I deserve this? This is sucks, it's not comfortable, but see if you can just relax into it. Let your belly relax, inner thighs soften, pelvic floor nice and relaxed. Very good. So much more I want to do in this class, and it's already 10:15. Right, let's come down onto tummies. I'm going to get you to do a little bit of activation through the front. Like I said, if you have to go, thank you for joining. Give yourself a moment to put your legs up the wall. If you can stay for a bit longer, I'm going to put my toes in, heels out, activating the front of the pelvic floor, little twitch muscles. These are the first ones to go. And what we really have to be focused on, keep practicing as you age. So forehead relaxing, shoulders relaxing. All you've got to do is feel like you're stopping yourself weeing, focus on the hose of the urethra, and lift upwards. So we get that feeling like we're zipping up the tight high-waisted jeans, and see if you can get the feedback where your tummy is lifting slightly off the floor as you draw upwards towards your rib cage. Breathing out, puppy breath. So this is just the same action as we just did with the, like that, but hopefully you can feel it with the floor. The reason we have toes in, heels out is so that we don't inadvertently squeeze our bum muscles and our inner thighs. Just focusing around the urethra to plump up the sphincter muscle there. So 6 or 7 or 8, and then wobble your bum from side to side. Relax, 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 relax. And then grabbing your bolster, coming onto your back. Okay, so I put a video into a recent video into the membership where I'm just focusing on this position and brick between knees and squeezing and lifting. That again is one of those exercises that massively increase the activation through the pelvic floor. So if you're wanting to strengthen, do that one. Just make sure you do baby pose at the end, release at the end. But for now, I'm going to get you to prop your pelvis so we can do a bit more focus on that connection with the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. And we can really suction our pelvic floor and our organs upwards. So this one is good for rectocele in particular. Constipation, difficulty eliminating, or the other way around when you don't have that control through the anus. So this is a good one. So it's the same breath. We're breathing in, everything's expanding, 360 breath in. As we breathe out, we let all of the power leave our lungs. And of course, we're on an angle here, so it's easier for the diaphragm to push all of the breath out. We already have a suction upwards when we do that. And at the end of the exhalation, see if you can imagine your ribs are flaring like that accordion is opening upwards, and see if you can get a feeling of sucking up, like that smoothie is being sucked up towards the rib cage. As soon as you need to breathe, let your belly go and take some regular breaths. Okay, so breathing in, breathing out. So you've got to let your belly go, and there'll be a tiny bit of puff that from the bottom of your lungs that needs to come out before you breathe normally. If you're doing a hyperpressive properly, you'll feel a sucking sensation around your clavicles. So up here, it will feel like there's a bit of a vacuum packing situation going on. If you've got it and this feels achievable, when we're on all fours, we've got pressure through forearms or hands into the ground. I suggest you add feet against the wall, or you can just hang here, but hands onto the legs. So as you breathe out and then you do the sucking up, you also put a gentle bit of pressure through hands into thighs, and that's going to help you feel that a little bit more. And because we've got the connection with the hands pressing into either the wall or our legs here, gets even more activation through here. So I'm a big one for getting maximum bang for your buck. So if we do the hyperpressive breath and an activation. Good. So I'm going to upload this afternoon, so you can go back and do that. But if prolapse is something that is bothering you, unfortunately, once you've got prolapse, we can improve it, we can maintain it, but we can also make it a lot worse if we're not working with our breath and not aware of that intra-abdominal pressure system, and we're then adding weights or going running, and we're not first of all doing the work to improve. If you are feeling super symptomatic, put your pelvis on a bolster or higher and do some of this stuff. It definitely helps. And the other thing is obviously releasing everything. So sometimes when there's too much tension, we've been doing too much sitting, especially too much sitting or too much standing without moving around, literally all the pressure starts to push down and we become more symptomatic. So get your pelvis up, do baby pose, put your legs up the wall, any of those things that just helps to release scrunched up, tense muscles. So in baby pose, you're relaxing your jaw, breathing, relaxed tummy. We're opening up these inner thigh muscles. See if you can relax your shoulders. If you can, do a little wobble from side to side. That just massages across the sacrum. It also gets a little bit of a massage into the nerves attaching to the spine. So just nice to calm the nerve system. Again, lots of bang for your buck with a baby pose. And then my new favorite thing, jiggling, arms and legs up, and just give it all a shake. Tell you what I've started to do. In the mornings, getting out, I get my light on the retina and just jumping. I was showing Serena yesterday. Jumping, little jumps, little sort of bounces while you shake the body. You're standing, but you're doing this. And you do it for a minute, 30 seconds a minute. And it just kind of, gets all the nuddies, the energy channels to open, and you feel really good. Really good. Okay. And then give yourself a flop. Well done, ladies. You've done some really quite strong strengthening. And lots to take on board.
So just know that it takes a while to re-establish those neural pathways and to actually be able to work with the internal system. But it's really worth persevering. It really, really is, because we've only got this one vessel for life, and how we look after this will affect how we can experience life. So it's definitely worth putting in the time in. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. So if you're able just to stay here for a bit longer and rest, please do. If your day needs cracking on with, take a moment just to twist, so feet can be either on the floor or on the bolster, just to get a rinse into the spine. And I love a little bit of a sartorius muscle stretch. And then, rocking and rolling, reboot the computer. Good. Active. Chin in, spine long, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed. Fingers out, turn the palms to face the ceiling. Imagine fresh energy is pouring into those hands. And as you breathe in, pulling that fresh energy up and around your body. Do a double breath in, a bit more, and then just let it all go. Thank you so much. Namaste.